Remember we scaled up to 27,000 and change in a single day. I spent 10 grand that day. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm sold, man. I actually sold my gym the next
I'm
month.
hooked.
It was a lot of luck. I can't stress that enough. It was like the preparation meets opportunity kind of thing. If I'd never gone through those years of having my gym and doing e-com and someone put Camp Lejeune in my lap, I probably would have just been like, I'm not going to help all these veterans get paid. Like,
This is the first podcast we've done in probably a year. As you can see, Tyler's not here. So I was talking to Tyler and we kind of decided that like he is a busy motherfucker. Like that guy is constantly doing real estate deals, doing other stuff. Like his calendar is wild. And I just kind of got no offense to him, but tired of like trying to organize everything. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this on my own. So you're stuck with me.
let's do it, baby.
Yeah, it's great, and like I thought, who would be the best person to start this off than John Casto? Because everyone in this space that watches any content related to this space knows this guy, and I feel like he's always on the other side of the camera or the mic, I guess, asking all the questions. So like, let's flip the script here a little bit, see where it takes us.
Dude, man.
All right, so I guess a lot of people do know who you are, but do a lot of people know your backstory? Kind of got how you got into the space? Because I sorted you, but not really. So why don't you give a little intro of who you are and kind of how you found this weird, crazy world that we live in?
Yeah, I got started. I ran my first Facebook ad when it first was available back in, I don't know, what was it, like 2013, 2014. And I had opened a gym 2013 and I had no freaking clue how to get customers. And at that point, I'd already been a few years into like the Dan Kennedy direct mail world. I'd gone to seminars with like Russell Brunson and stuff like that, like really early when it's still weird now, but it was like really weird then. And they would like sell from the stage and you'd rush back to the stage and spend thousands of dollars. Like, yeah,
I remember that, man.
yeah,
I remember that. I did a few ecom ones and you're just like, they just like pitch you scarcity and then like
and it works.
everyone runs back like they're gonna miss out of it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you people doing?
Yeah, I was one of them.
Like, amazing.
Yeah, man, I learned Facebook ads. I started to learn Facebook ads. I'd say like dabble with them. I went to like a Lloyd Irving seminar, if you know Lloyd Irving, an OG internet marketer guy.
Yeah.
And basically like I was in and out, really dabbling, not really making money with the ads, but I was doing grassroots marketing with my gym. I had those picket signs you put up. You'd order like 100 or 200 signs with the phone number. So I guess I was doing pay-per-call for my own business back in like 2013, right? So, but I knew it wasn't.
That's funny.
Yeah, it really wasn't the best way to grow the business. And then after a few years of kind of going in and out with Facebook ads, joined a few masterminds, I landed on Alex Hormozi's in what he was doing gym launch, right? So I was probably one of the first 200 gym owners in gym launch when it was still Alex, 5 days a week on the call with you, like giving you more or less like feedback and coaching on how to close, like overcoming objections. Like it was like high ticket sales, right? So, and that changed my life because I learned very quickly you could take $1 in ad spend and then turn it into 4 or more just on the front end, not even counting like the back end customer value. Right. So I knew I didn't want to open another gym. So I continued to grow we took our gym from doing like 10 grand a month in revenue to like 50 grand a month in revenue. It was insane. So I knew I wanted to sell, but that selling a business is hard, especially like a brick and mortar like that. It takes time. So I started to do e-com, and e-com's a great use of the skill set. You could just take your Facebook ads, like basics of what you're doing already with local lead gen, and flip it over to e-com where there's more scale. And I rode the roller coaster of drop shipping until about 2021. I had some bad experiences during COVID with like fulfillment, orders not getting shipped, all the port issues that a lot of guys, I just didn't solve it like some guys did, right? So I watched all my friends pivot into lead gen and affiliate marketing. I was like, what's affiliate marketing? And I started doing refi. That was my first offer. And I lost a bunch of money because there's levels to this, man. Like you see what's happening, but you don't understand what's happening when you first start doing it. Right. And thankfully, the second offer I ran was a self-employed health insurance and I was an affiliate under this guy that I actually helped him solve his Facebook ban issues he had during COVID. So he took me under his wing. He showed me how to like set up like a ping post, like what I do with legal now, and basically sell direct
Yeah.
to like your own buyer network. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I pivoted in after Affiliate Summit East 2022. I ran a legal offer from another guy I helped with this Facebook stuff. He just like said, hey, go tell them you run legal. I was like, but I don't run legal. They're like, don't worry, just tell them you run legal. So I lied to Ad
Yeah.
Mediary. They know this. That's why I'm saying this publicly. And I was like, yeah, I run legal. I do all these offers that I didn't know what they were. And the second offer that I got from them was Camp Lejeune. And if you remember what Camp Lejeune was, it's
Oh yeah.
it was a unicorn. Like it's never going to happen again. It never in history, as far as I know, has the government basically made a bunch of people sick, taken responsibility, and said we will guarantee a payment on this. You just need to basically get your documents together and submit it. So the attorneys went nuts, and the hedge funds that actually repay back these attorneys went even crazier. And the budgets were basically unlimited for like a year. So I remember we scaled up to 27,000 and change in a single day. I spent 10 grand that day. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm sold, man. I actually sold my gym the next
I'm
month.
hooked.
Yeah. So it was a lot of luck. Like I can't stress it enough. It was like the preparation meets opportunity kind of thing. If I
Yeah.
was a person, if I never gone through those years of having my gym and doing ecom and someone put Camp Lejeune in my lap, I probably would have just been like, I'm not going to help all these veterans get paid. Like,
Yeah. Fair enough, man. What was it like working with Hormozi daily? Like, because I imagine that in itself would be pretty, I don't want to say like motivating on its own, but also like insanely educational and I think you'd just see things a lot differently.
yeah, I mean, I've been doing high ticket sales more or less. Like I've been selling fit weight loss face to face for at that point
Got it.
9 years, but not at that level, not with that consistency, not with that level of conviction. So I
Yeah.
think I did a lot of like personal development. So in my 20s, I was working through my own personal shit, right? All the stuff we
Yeah.
carried through our childhood. So I'd done like a lot of like
Yeah.
Tony Robbins, all this stuff, which does teach you like sales, energy, and presence, and like framing, and how to overcome objections, and pacing, and NLP, all this like technical sales shit.
Yeah.
Hormozi
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
G, because what you see is what you get. Like he is the same person in person and in a small Zoom call as he is on his YouTube channel, right? So that's like the first thing. And then with that, he really boiled it down to it's just about the offer and then overcoming objections and then not letting them walk away without a sale. I remember this. You're either sold on their excuses or they're sold on your conviction. It's one of the two things. Right. So like that was like a fucking masterclass in high ticket sales. Like I was already like a decent
Interesting.
salesperson, but I could plug into any fucking thing and sell now if I had to.
Dude, that's cool. I feel like that's like such a valuable skill set to have, regardless of what you're doing in your life. And not enough people know how to sell. Even in our industry, I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to sell. They're just throwing shit up against the wall, hoping for the best. But like actually understanding the fundamentals of sales is huge.
Yeah, man. It was super interesting because I learned a lot of different sales styles, but Hormozi's was the least emotional. So a lot of these others like high pressure sales that you learn from like Dan Kennedy, like that
Yeah.
kind of world. It's about like manipulating their emotions. But Hormozi's the easiest way to explain his sale was it was a irresistible offer paired with just like you're an idiot if you don't say yes because you already said you wanted this thing. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like about just beating them down
Yeah.
with that same conviction and just like logic. It was a logic sale. That's why I liked it the most, man. Cause
Yeah.
it was just backspace, like how you were pitching them and overcoming objections. And they were just basically felt like an idiot if they didn't say yes, because why would they? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Oh, another thing I wanted to ask you on that whole timeline there. What was on your ecom store? Did you ever have any ones that like really took off, any products, and you're just like, oh wow, like this is eye opening?
Dude, we had this one, it was an inflatable neck thing for people that had like neck pain.
Yeah.
So we're basically just like, it's like, the
Yeah.
dogs when they put the coat on. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like that. Yeah,
Did it expand your neck high?
It like just
Like,
supported. It was more like it would like inflate
got it.
and like yeah, it wasn't like the
Got
people in
it.
Thailand that have tall necks, but it was pretty wild, man. Yeah, that thing fucking hit. I don't know. I mean, anything health related, right? Like I guess that's like a testament to Nutra as a whole, right? Like people getting at people out of pain is always going to sell, and that's always going to
Yeah. That's cool, man. Hilarious. So you've kind of you've stuck in sort of the legal space now with the torts and stuff like that, from my understanding, but you've dabbled in other niches, correct?
Yeah, we still do a good chunk of insurance. It's probably like 30% of our revenue, maybe half, like 50% of our revenue, depending on the month. And like we just came off of open enrollment, so
Yeah.
legal's a little bit tricky because budgets come and go, right? So like I guess you could say like
Yeah.
insurance has its own like cycle through the year based on enrollment periods, but
Yeah.
legal is purely driven based off of like existing torts plus speculative torts plus interest rates plus because of the interest rates and like potential returns from VCs and hedge funds, where they want to park that money, right? So like if something's super speculative
Got
and
it, yeah.
early, like Ozempic, you like there was big budgets for Ozempic for like Q1 and Q2 last, I think it was Q1, Q2 last year, right? And that's like shrunk since.
Interesting. So they like essentially though they're just like taking bets some of the times. Like there's not even these class action lawsuits yet. They're just creating them. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have more or less, they have to obviously build like a scientific argument and create links back. So
Yeah.
from my understanding, there's some science and speculation, and then they basically see what they believe those cases could be worth. And then that's how they decide to initially start purchasing up retainers. And this can change,
it.
man. Like this can go multiple ways. So you'll see a bunch of money come in, and usually the criteria is super broad at first. It's like, did you use this product and get sick? And then it'll narrow down by like
Yeah.
specific cancer types or specific ailments. And then on top of that, how long they use the product, when they first started using it, when they stopped using it. And then each state has like a statute of limitations, depending on like if it's like a sex abuse or a mass tort. So,
Yeah.
but typically like with Ozempic, for example, it was really broad at first, but the payout was really low, right? So like we were getting paid, I think, $400 or $500 a retainer through like a broker or an aggregator, which sounds like a lot, but when
Yeah.
you get like a 3 to 5% conversion rate on a $30 cost per lead, do the math. It doesn't always add
Yeah.
up. But by the time I think we saw Ozempic come in and out of a budget, and like the last end it had, I think it was maybe like 1,500. But you got to keep in mind too, at this point, a percentage of the potential cases are already eaten up. There's more publishers and direct advertisers running traffic, so
Yeah.
the average cost per lead is going up too.
Interesting.
It's like ever evolving.
So you're kind of just riding the wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And then sometimes, dude, like you'll be riding something at like $1,000 retainer payout, and you're just like losing you're like basically making no money with it. But it's like 1 week it's
Yeah.
profitable, next week that margin gets wiped, and then just you wake up one day and they're like, all right, we're gonna pay you $2,500, and then it's just like instantly you're profitable. But you got a window because there's other guys. There's not a lot of guys running legal, and we could talk about that too. But there's other
Yeah.
guys that are running that same tort, riding that wave to see if it takes. And guess what? They're going
Yeah.
to start pumping traffic, and then your CPL is going to go up within a few weeks usually. But still, like if you
Yeah.
see the right payout hit, it's just math, right? And you can margin in a certain amount of like CPL range you can afford.
Got it. So is it like, from your perspective, is it worth riding out that initial wave? Even like, let's say you're running, let's just call it break even ish for a couple weeks or a month. I don't know how long you ride it for. Versus just kind of like really having your ear down to the market and then jumping on once the payouts increase. Like I'm trying to understand the benefit of the lower payout ride out.
Well, during that time, you're also testing creatives, you're testing other angles, you're seeing if you get that edge,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, it's very tough,
Got it.
man, because like, let's say your traffic's converting like 3 to 4% raw lead to retainer. You'll get feedback from the buyers, or you'll see your dispositions that'll say, this is like the common DQ reason. So you're like, okay, well, logically, I'll just add a filter for that. But guess what? Like your CPL doubles and your conversion rate doesn't move. You're just losing more
Yeah.
money. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, usually I'll have our one or two main like front runners pushing, and those are the ones we're scaling. And then I'll have like another speculative one or two, if depending what's available too. Just depends on time of year, what attorneys are basically speculating on, where those budgets are going, right? So like for
Yeah.
example, we had a kind of not like a unicorn, I wouldn't call it like a unicorn, but a non-typical scenario. So I've got one main tort that we're pushing on pretty hard, or two main torts that we're pushing on pretty hard. And then I started running this third one that was really niche and small. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Dude, like 16% of my traffic is converting to retainer. It's like stupid. And the
Wow.
payout's like a couple $1,000 out the gate.
Yeah.
Right. So it just, it's hard to give every tort's different. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, man. And that's one thing I think a lot of people, like, maybe not on just the tort side, but a lot of people overlook sort of new offers and new opportunities and don't give them, like, everyone's kind of just going after the one that's got the most volume. And realistically, like, you can find some pretty big wins in there if you just go after new offers or something that's not proven, because you never really know how that's going to convert. And also, what I find too on these new offers is like the buyers don't really know what they have yet. They don't really know where they're like, where they're losing money, where they're not losing money. And they're
Right.
just looking for that initial sort of test. And that initial test can last like a couple months realistically, and you can just print some cash. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel that like everyone's like, oh, let's just all smash auto insurance and see where it takes us. But it's kind of like a race to the bottom,
Yeah.
you know?
100%, man. So a lot of people ask me for help with legal, and it's really tough, man, because first of all, here's why you shouldn't do auto or legal, because
Yeah.
you don't know where your CPL range is gonna be till you spend money, and usually leads are more expensive, so you have to spend more. And on top of that, the call center is gonna dictate your actual cost per retainer. It's not just the cost per lead. And on top of
Yeah.
that, you're gonna get delayed reporting. Some buyers take like 2 to 3 days to update the dispositions. So you have no idea if you're actually making money. But even like once you narrow it down
Yeah.
to one or two really solid buyers that give relatively like same day, next day reporting, you're still going to have issues. And it's tough, man. Like it's hard to spend 10 grand a day and not know if it's actually converting into something, right? A lot of people don't
Yeah.
want to do that. They want to know where they're at today, right now, which I understand. Like I would prefer that too. So
Yeah.
you also have return rates with legal too. So sometimes you look like you have a 30% margin, and then you get dude. Last week I had one buyer through one of the aggregators I sell to return 4 retainers at like 2,800 a pop in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 out of 12 that
Wow.
had sold to this person. It's like, and you scale according to those signals of conversion rate and like estimated margin, right? So
Yeah.
when your margin just gets like hit like that, it completely throws off what you were projecting, and that's how you scale. You don't scale. You scale, yes, based on today's CPL, but also based on like the last 7 to 14 day conversion rate and cost per retainer with that CPL.
What's like the return window that they can return those leads to you?
It's whatever's negotiated, but traditionally like 14 days.
Okay. That's a long time.
Yeah. In this case, though, it's a big law firm that eats up a lot of the market. So like these guys will bully people around. Like I know people that they'll return after like 30 days on. It's fucked up, man.
I guess you can't really do
Yeah,
shit,
dude,
hey?
if you,
You know, like, what are you gonna do? Sue them?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, good luck trying to fight an attorney. File your Allianz insurance policy against like a major law firm. Good luck.
Oh, that's funny, man. Well, shit, dude. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I don't know much about the tort stuff at all. I've never really ran it. And even like some of the other legal stuff like MBA and stuff we have ran, and it's been a massive roller coaster for us. To the point where we finally get it like figured out and profitable, and the lead quality is like good enough. And we just started blasting, and then they just like freaked the fuck out. They're
Yeah,
just like, no, back off, back off. And then they like come back like
begging.
let's call it 10 days later. And then they're just like, can you turn that back on? I'm like, I don't know if you know how this works, man, but like, we can't just like spin this back up and open the floodgates that quick.
It's tricky, man.
So,
I mean, there's lots of money to be made,
I
right?
feel your pain.
So I like it because inherently it's very relationship driven. You're incentivized to not send bad traffic, which is, I think, is super cool.
Yeah.
You're actually helping people generally, like you are helping people with these offers. They are like benefiting the consumer. And then also it pays really well. So like I always like to say, you can suck more as a marketer. You have more margin to suck as a marketer. If you're like a decent business person, you could compensate for that.
Yeah. I also imagine the barrier to entry is quite challenging on it based on everything we've just discussed here. So I'm assuming like there's not going to be a situation where every affiliate's running it or trying to run it.
A lot of people try. They're like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about to do like Tort. I'm like, bro, good luck. Here's how it works. Like, you sure you want to do this, man?
Yeah. Praying for you, man. That's funny, man. All right. Well, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit here, and we're going to bounce back and forth. But I kind of want to talk to you about your YouTube channel, your podcast, and everything like that, and how that sort of matured to where it is today. Because correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of started more of like travel sort of vlog style. You going to events, stuff like that.
Oh, even before that, I was doing. If you go back, I started the channel in December 2019, and I started putting out e-com content when I was still doing dropshipping.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I missed that
Don't go back that
it.
far.
I think I
That's
that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes I look at the old videos on my YouTube channel too, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's impressive. But yeah, so you've been kind of like, what was your whole motivation to sort of start the YouTube channel? What was kind of like your end goals with it, and where are you at today with it?
Yeah, well, we were pretty heavy into dropshipping. We were looking to build like more like a coaching program around it. And it's pain in the ass coaching people, man. Like I enjoy it. I do like helping people. Like I owned a gym for 10 years. So it is cool to have an impact on someone's life. But yeah, I after our first like 20 enrollments, I was like, I don't want to keep selling coaching on how to do this. I'm better off I'll keep putting out the content, but I don't want to be like the e-com guru, right? That just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So, but I saw that it definitely opened up a lot of like doors and relationships, and I enjoyed putting out the content. I pivoted into talking a lot about like Facebook bans. We actually built an offer that we ran for about a year where we would create custom solutions and services around Facebook bans before like agency accounts were really like a big thing, right? But by the time I got into affiliate marketing, I was so freaking busy actually running the lead gen business. We launched an offer from the content that we were putting out on like affiliate marketing on how to do legal. And then that became a nightmare. I was like, okay, this is literally the last time I tried to do like a coaching offer of any kind. I'm just going to, and then it all started becoming more of like a podcast when we went to Peloton in 2 years ago, almost in down in Florida. I don't know if you were at that event.
Oh, nice. No, so I've only been to one Peloton. It wasn't Peloton. It was CarterCon in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, I missed that
the
one.
OG one. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started. I took my camera guy and we just sat down with a bunch of like big dogs and heavy hitters in the industry. We banged out like 5 or 6 podcasts, and then I was like, "This is cool," because I saw with buyers. And just with even other affiliates, like people opened up to me more. They trust me more. I was new. Like I'd only been doing this shit for like a year, man. So I would say it sped up the time it took to really get to know, because it is a good old boys network in the affiliate lead gen space, right? Sure. I think I was able to meet and build trust and goodwill with that good old boys club like 10 times faster compared to someone that had been doing this for like 5 or 10 years, right? And then on the buyer side, like it definitely opens doors. There's trust right away. So I can't say I make $1 for X amount of dollars for every YouTube video I put out. I don't make anything, actually. I don't sell it. I literally, people ask me for consulting. I tell them to go join your course. I don't want to do coaching. So but it puts dollars in my pocket, like from a financial standpoint, within like just over time. I don't know how to quantify it. I don't know if I can. Right. And I enjoy it, man. Like I get free consults. Like I get to sit down, ask really smart people, really tough, honest questions. And I believe they can tell that I'm coming from just like a genuinely curious standpoint. And
Yeah.
I don't have another ulterior motive. I'm not trying to like get something from them, right? And I believe because I come from that place that people are just more willing to share like honesty, which is not always the case in
Yeah.
this industry where people really gatekeep and pull back, right?
It's interesting, man, because I feel like I've talked to a few people that are, I wouldn't say in like, I don't want to say the circle because I feel like it's a big circle, but like I think like me and you are in sort of like the broader circle, and like each of us have our own sort of smaller knit crews,
Right.
right? Let's just call it that. But the people on the outside of that bigger circle, they're like, "Oh man, your space is so like nobody shares any information." I was like, "Really?" Cuz like for me, I feel like this is such an open sharing information industry comparatively. So I came from like the spam email sort of spot, and everyone acted like they had magical secrets on how to inbox and like how to like send like that extra million. So I do find this space a lot more open, and then maybe it's just the group that I'm in, but I thought that was kind of interesting because I don't know about you, but it seems like you're getting a lot of information as well from other people in like in a good way, and you give a lot of information as well.
That's the key. What you just said. What you just said is the key. And that's why the outsiders feel outside because a lot of them are
Got
coming,
it.
I believe, just because a lot of people DM me and message me, probably just like you. A
Yeah.
lot of people will come asking, like, or they'll come, like, they'll even send a message in like a very like demanding way. And it's like, look, I'm a nice dude. I'll probably answer you just because I generally don't mind
Yeah.
helping you. But if you just change this approach a little bit, I don't know, like that's always just worked for me, right? Like just coming and asking how I can
Yeah.
help you before I ask for anything.
Dude, you do get like the ask holes where they just like straight up just like pepper you with shit. And I'm like, bro, I don't know you. I don't owe you anything. Like I'm generally a nice person and I want to help you, but just like your approach makes me want to tell you to fuck off.
Exactly. And I think this is what creates that environment where a lot of people feel like they're on the outside and they're not in this club, right? Because they come at
Yeah.
it that way. And I think that like self perpetuates in itself.
All valid points. Yeah. Yeah, but then so I kind of take a step back sometimes. I'm like, I wonder if these people are just socially awkward because we do get a lot of like, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but we do get a lot of like nerdy guys who are super intelligent
Dude,
that just kind of
no,
like hang out
let's be blunt, man.
in their room.
We get a lot of guys that are on the spectrum in a very genius way. And that's what makes them so
Yeah,
fucking good at like the data side and optimizing and really like cracking
yeah,
stuff. That's a fact.
yeah, yeah. That's true. So I mean, like, you don't really get that person that has good social cues, you know. So I don't know. I always question things, but sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't really want to help you at all. Like, you're just kind of you seem like a
You're being an
dick,
asshole.
but
Yeah.
you're being an asshole, but maybe you just don't know how to talk to people, which
I
is
think
fair.
that's a large part of it, man. This industry because it's appealing to people that don't they think they don't have to talk to people. It attracts a certain type of person that typically has those kinds of skill sets or could develop them based on their personality type. Little do they realize once they get into the space, if you want to make actual money, you're going to spend more time probably talking to people than running ads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that for sure. Or just scanning thousands of messages in Telegram
Or
groups.
Skype.
Oh yeah, dude. It's I've tried to transition off Skype so many times, but we have multiple companies and teams on Skype, so it'd be impossible to like you'd still have to have both platforms for us. And I'm like, that in itself sounds like more
Sounds
of a
worse than
headache than
just
just
Skype.
yeah. So I am attached to Skype till the day I die, it
Sadly,
seems. So with the podcast and YouTube, is there any like big plans like to transition that into something bigger, or for now you just want to do content, get as much
yes.
information as you can, meet some amazing people,
Yeah.
or what's the end goal with that?
I think about this a lot, man. It's not to just course sling. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not what I want to do. And it's because
Yep.
in the affiliate space, I think there is some level of finite amount of cap and capacity to an extent, right? And I
Yep.
want to go big and broad with this. And affiliate marketing is also not for
Yep.
everyone. It's very niche and specific, right?
I agree.
I think it's very like you got to have people that are really self motivated and also have those personality types to do well with it. So I've decided
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to ever launch like a niche. Here's how you do affiliate lead gen. Well, maybe I'll drop one for free just to put out like content,
Yeah.
right? But what I'd like to do is broaden to more make money, like so it's bulletproof scaling is our brand, right? That can be
Yeah.
from building up like a personal brand and then launching brands off the back of that, like you see a lot of these like mega influencers do. This can be someone doing e-com and drop shipping or coaching or digital products. So I want to expand out to people that are generally just like scaling with the internet. I think that'd be really interesting
Mhm.
because there's lessons to be learned in everyone. And e-com is probably the closest lowest hanging fruit because the e-com dropshipping guys, some of those guys are fucking brilliant, man. Like they do shit that like we don't do.
Yeah.
That if we applied the same kind of strategies, really like the back end mindset with how they build, like, dude, we could make our lead gen business 1,000 times better.
I would agree with that because I feel lately we've seen a lot of ecom guys coming out with like, so I read a lot of ecom Facebook pages still. And I find there's a lot of ecom guys that come up with a whole new strategies on how to basically run campaigns and ads. And then I find that eventually rolls over into the lead gen side. So it's almost like they're at the forefront and we're piggybacking off their strategies and and how they sort of run everything. So I would agree with that, man. I feel like the ecom guys are very intelligent, and I feel like you have to be because it's a full scope business. Like for us, where some of us are just slanging leads, like
Right.
that's basically it. You know, like
But not
dial
even
in the
we're
creatives.
we're running like it's creative production. It's not even leads. We're not actually managing the leads,
Yeah,
right?
that's
There's no
valid.
ping
Yeah,
post. There's no like buyer. Yeah, you're chatting with like your AMs and stuff, but like at the very basic,
yeah,
highest level of the most like surface level you could play this game, there's guys that do really well, just like clicking buttons and making tons of creatives, right?
yeah. Interesting, man.
So,
I give props to the ecom guys that have stayed around through all this as well.
dude, it's
Like,
tough.
I think that like there's been a huge decline in drop shipping. That's why like I kind of dropped my course originally is just everyone was asking me how to get into affiliate lead gen because I sort of jumped ship sooner than most people. And that's the only reason my course exists really. So like the guys that have like turned it into just like massive businesses, I feel like the average drop shipper like me versus the guy today, it's just like it's next level. The amount of systems and structure they have in place.
Yeah, man. But it's also cool because a lot of the guys that are in that world, like the e-com dropshipping space, they say it's also easier than ever because of the technology around it now. It's so much better than, dude, you started doing
Okay.
dropshipping back
Yeah.
in like what, 2016, 2015?
Yeah, a long time
Yeah,
ago.
you were probably like custom coding everything or a lot of stuff. Now it's like it was great when I did it in like during COVID. Now it's like, dude,
Yeah.
one button and you got like your store already pre-built and it's like with all the apps installed and custom functions and you can do split
Yeah.
tests on the fly. Like, yeah. So but you also, the challenge of managing inventory and fulfillment never ends. Right.
No. No. And I think essentially it makes you a better business owner because you have to go full circle. You have to do like sourcing, inventory, shipping. Like it's definitely more of a full circle business. And I think that it probably teaches you better lessons than just affiliate
Yeah.
marketing.
Affiliate marketing gets you, if you don't go deep, I think gets you really good at optimizing like conversion rate optimization to an extent,
Yeah.
along with creative production and media buying. Those
Yeah.
are like the
Yeah.
three core skill sets, unless you build your own funnels and you capture the data and post it to like your own buyers.
Yeah. That's true. So on that note, what are you spending most of the time in your business on these days? Because we kind of just talked about it is mostly creative driven, and I feel like we've all heard that over and over again. But I do feel that there is some structure, there is some strategy structure now that's changed quite a bit because I feel like before everyone's just doing mass dupes off really good creatives and making a whole bunch of bread off that. But now it's Facebook's a little bit more finicky when it comes to the lead gen stuff or the affiliate stuff. I don't know what's happening on the e-com side of things too much, but I know on our side it's definitely a lot more sensitive to how you scale. Yeah. What's your takeaway on that?
Yeah. So speaking of e-com and different approaches, Jose Torres, who runs a big agency. This guy does Ty Lopez's ads. He's super connected, super plugged in,
Amazing.
really young kid, really smart, hard worker, plugged in with a lot of the drop shippers, like brand owners, on how to scale their existing offers. So I took his course a year and a half ago. I did coaching with him probably 6 months ago on how to like really maximize big caps and cost caps. So to answer your question, I believe it's a combination of hot offer with the right creative, and funnel should be assumed in there too. And then applying to scale, applying big caps, cost caps, and or testing across accounts in addition to that. Right. And like you see this with some of the guys in your group, like Vivek, like he's a big cap king, right? Like he's cracked that stuff.
Yeah.
So like we have a different approach, but it's still the same idea of like bringing it. Manual bidding seems to be, as silly as that sounds, with consolidation and automation, all this, all like the messaging behind where Facebook is going.
Yeah.
Here we are actually like placing manual bids.
That's kind of been the case since day one, though. Like whenever whatever Facebook reps tell you what to do, the lower reps, just do the opposite of that basically, and you'll be okay, you know? So everyone's like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm jumping on a call with a rep. I'm like, you're probably going to be let down. They're going to tell you some bullshit. You're going to lose a bunch of money.
Guaranteed.
And then you're going to go back to the way you did things before.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I actually just signed up for Alex Fedotov's. I don't know if you know Alex Fedotov, big e-com guy. Just signed up for his event.
I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to his mastermind in Dubai next week after Affiliate World. So I'm actually really excited.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, I was on the fence about him, man, because obviously like I don't do any e-com or drop shipping, but I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Sometimes getting out of your own little world and into something relevant but different might open up different ideas. So I'm actually super excited to see what these guys are doing. And the ticket was not cheap, so it should be a higher tier audience in attendance too. And like some of the speakers I know have had like 50 mil exits or more on their brands. So it should be interesting to see what other guys are doing.
So do you still do a lot of like events like that or courses?
I'll do courses every now and then, but honestly, man, I've been really bad about just focusing on being in the business, like team building, optimizing how we produce creatives. I think it's time, because I think it can become a distraction if you're just in this constant like mode of information gathering, right?
Yes,
instead of just doing the boring, like this is another Hormozi lesson. Just do the boring thing like a million times. That's usually, we could probably keep scaling most of our campaigns if we just keep making better creatives. Like that is a reality and possibility. But I think what I'm specifically looking for is to see how other guys grow and scale their teams. And I think e-com, it's similar enough, at least on the creative production operation side, that I can learn from that. And then also see how they specifically do creative production. So that's me going deeper with what I'm already focused on.
On that note, though, I do find that going to events, and so to be totally honest, I haven't been for a very long time I haven't paid for any sort of event or done anything like that. But I do feel that every time you come out of events like that, you feel refreshed and ready to sort of like, you kind of got a pep in your step to like dominate the next step in your business, you know? And I feel like I got a little bit of that after Affiliate Summit in Vegas, which was nice. I probably had the best Affiliate Summit that I've been to. And I just didn't really, dude, it was great. You know why? Because like I didn't go to any paid parties or masterminds or anything like that. I hung out at the Chandelier Bar minimally. Like I maybe put in a few hours there, but most of the other time I was just like meeting up with people who I wanted to see, and it was great. Lots of dinners, lots of lunches, you know, stuff like that. And I came out of that just kind of feeling refreshed and ready to sort of like take on some more stuff. And I think we can all relate to this. You just get behind your computer for a while and you're just like, what am I even doing anymore? You know, like I'm just like slugging away at this
100%,
just repeating the steps over and over again. And I don't know about you guys, but our February was pretty average. So we're just, you know, I think that like the motivation came at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think
so.
I do think there's something to events. I think it can be a waste of your time if you're not intentional about it too. Like it sounds like you were pretty clear. I just want to go. I want to connect with some specific people, and that's how I want to spend my time. right? I think even that
Yeah,
simple intention like that goes a long way. Because honestly, man, like
I
I've
agree.
been going to every show. I've been going pretty hard the last 2 years, like even most of the affiliate
Yeah,
worlds too. And it is a lot of the same shit. And then like then like once you see
yeah,
that it's really just like networks selling the brokers who then sell the brokers who then sell the brokers who then sell the brokers.
yeah,
And then there's an end buyer that we're all selling to that it like you realize the floor is cool, but it's actually not where a lot of the value is. Most of it's in the people,
yeah.
right?
Do you feel that you're obligated to go now because you have this podcast and YouTube channel? And you're just like, oh man, I really just have to go to get content, even if I don't want to go.
Yes.
I mean, that's fair. And I guess that's where the people are, right? And like, I feel like you're in Colombia, right? So
A little bit tougher
besides
to
that,
get there, but it's not
that
impossible.
group of guys that roll through, but
Yeah.
yeah. Besides your personal brand and the bulletproof scaling stuff, what's kind of your end game with the media buy team and the torts and sort of the whole lead gen side of things? Do you want to eventually build that into something bigger, or is just this is your sort of, I'm making a bunch of money and then I'm going to exit and do something even bigger than this?
Well, I was kind of waiting to see what happened with 1-to-1 because that definitely has an impact
Yeah,
on my next move. So right now,
yeah,
man, I've decided probably the best thing to do is just to go deeper on what we already do, which is creative production. So we're actually building out creative production teams, meaning like on-site actors and actresses, like fully, like I don't know if you
amazing.
know the guys at Leeds Icon, Manuel, Chris Groves. Yeah,
No,
dude, I connected with them. They're legends in the space. They do a lot of their stuff is like they talk about events. A lot of their stuff is like hired actors and actresses, like high level, not just like B-roll with scripting, right? So we're going deeper
got
with
it.
that.
What's their called? Sorry,
Leeds Icon. I'll intro you to them. They're
Leads
super
Icon.
connected in the space.
Okay,
They're like Peloton and everything too.
got it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And so we're looking to model that out and build the same thing. I was actually one of the actors in Miami before I saw you in Vegas. We hired some actors to do like
Amazing.
a bunch of ads. So I want to go, I think there's a lot I could go a lot deeper there just to always get more juice out of our affiliate campaigns.
Mhm.
We were thinking to open basically like develop like a transfer center for our legal campaigns. I'm still on the fence if that's the right next move, man, because anytime you add in more humans like that and then you put them on payroll, it could go a lot of different directions. Stodalock is actually
Yeah,
looking at moving his call center from another city to where I live in Medellin. And if that's the case,
yeah,
I was thinking to at least set up a media buying like portion of the office. So we'll share the office space. I'll be doing media buying out of there. I get a few people in person to work there as well, and I could even develop a podcast studio. So I could be like, hey,
yeah.
fly down to Medellin and we'll do a podcast. I think that'd actually be really fucking cool.
Very cool, man. Maybe get some fresh teeth down there. I heard they do great
I could sell
veneers,
I could sell health packages that include a podcast.
Bro, I'm in. I'm in.
So yeah, man,
Okay, that's cool, man.
I think but on like the personal brand side, probably not going to drop a course. If I do, it'll be like a very broad, here's how you actually do Facebook ads. And it'll be for everyone from mom and pop all the way up to like big spenders on affiliate e-com, whatever.
Yeah,
But what I'd like to do, Ben, well, I don't know if it actually makes sense, but what I would like to do is to do a mastermind event in Mexico that brings together the e-com world with the affiliate lead gen world to get those conversations flowing both ways. Because I think that's missing in the marketplace. I think there's a huge, maybe not need for that, but I think there's a lot of value to something like that, right?
I mean that's pretty easy to test out, man. You just partner up with another huge ecom guy and then just pull them together and see what happens. I mean, everyone's looking for a trip to Mexico, and I don't know if you've seen this, but everyone is like so keen to go to events and masterminds. Like I swear we hit a time where there's an affiliate show or a lead show or like a leads buyer show or a mastermind almost monthly. And that never used to be the case in this industry, but people are keen to go. Like they're always like so busy. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just down in Orlando for this," or "I'm just down in like Vegas for this," or "We're over in LA." And I'm just like, "Bro, you guys must travel so much."
Yeah, I think it's because we're so disconnected to get outside of like the business side of I think as humans, we're so
That's
disconnected
fair. Yeah.
that there's definitely a space and a craving almost for that like human connection. I really think that's a lot of it. And when I meet someone in person, it hits differently than when I like hop on a Zoom call with them.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I feel like I'm really leaning towards opening an office eventually and just having like a whole team around me versus the like remote team. And I know a lot of people like working from home and stuff. I just feel like I would be much more successful with a team and being a leader with a team if we were in person.
Yeah.
I kind of need that. I miss office, you know, and I only worked in an office probably like early 20s and stuff. But it just had a different vibe to it.
I think you're able to focus better. I think you're able to like focus. Right? That's probably the biggest, the focus and the energy, man. Like those intangibles that you can't really measure. I think that does get lost unless you're just like a team of 10, like hyper introverted. You actually do worse with humans. But still, I think there's something magical about being, at least with my personality type, with being within proximity to someone. I think there is something to be said about it.
Yeah.
And dude, there's a lot of like
agree, man.
skilled, intelligent Colombians that live here. There's a lot of expats that live here that are skilled too, that would love to make a couple $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah. Do it up, man. Do it up. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to do it too. Once right now I'm in the US on a visa, but once I get permanent residency, I'm definitely I'm going to go that route. So it's going to be good. Last question, and we'll end it here. What's your best advice for someone starting out that wants to get into this space? Because we do get a lot of people coming through being like, where do I get started?
Honestly, Jay didn't put me up to this. Like, get his course. I think the people even the people you'll surround yourself with from his weekly calls and the people in that group, like it sounds silly to like pay. You're not like paying for friends, but when you do make an investment like that, you're also surrounded by other people that saw the value in making that investment. But like the reason why I'm pitching his group is because I personally know the guys in his group and they are legit. Like the numbers they talk about are the ones they do, right? Gabe's awesome. His content's awesome. His connections are great. So if if we're talking hands-on, like someone working with you and helping with you, Gabe, you got the best thing in the market by far. In addition to that, go to events, like shake hands, kiss babies, maybe don't kiss babies, make friends. And like I remember my first affiliate show was going to Affiliate Summit was very sentimental for me this year, man, because my first one was 2021. The first one, I think, back after COVID. They did it in like November.
Yeah.
And I knew 2 people there. I knew basically no one. And I remember the contrast of that experience versus fast forward basically 3 years, like night and day, man. And I'm just like super grateful because this industry has really...
Bro, you're like a celebrity. You're like a celebrity at these events.
No, but it's just, I don't know. I think just not being a dick, trying to do the right thing, like being helpful, like all that shit, it compounds over time. And then also, last thing with this too, don't have outrageous expectations. I think a lot of people struggle in this industry because they like think they're going to get rich overnight, and like shit can happen fast, but it usually happens after a lot of other things have happened.
Yeah. Dude, I always get the question, like, how quickly, if I join your course, can I like make my first like money and stuff like that, like profitably? I'm like, dude, it can take you like a month, or it can take you like 5 years, you know, like, I don't really know how to answer that question. And like, if you do hit it in a month, it's probably because you just like lucked out and stole someone's great creatives and the alignment was just there. But yeah, man, I tell everyone, I'm like, you got to treat this like a real business. It's hard. But it's fruitful when you figure it out.
It pays the bills very well. Like if you watch me on YouTube, aside from the private jet with Adam and those guys, I didn't pay for the jet. Like I didn't rent the jet myself, just to be very clear. So I'm not making FU money, but it has afforded me a very, very good life. Like I'm going to start a family. I'll be able to support my kids and my wife without even a question, and then retire young should I be stupid enough to do so.
That's the dream, buddy. All right. If people want to find you, what's the best way to do so?
Bulletproof Scaling on YouTube or Instagram. You can also search, I think, on YouTube and just search John Casto, not Castro, not to be confused with Fidel Castro. No R, please. And I will pop up both in English and Espanol if you prefer.
Oh, wow. Look at you, buddy. That's
Spanish
amazing.
podcasts.
Yeah, guys, if you have not checked out John's stuff, you should. He has top level interviews with some of the biggest dudes in our space, if not the biggest dudes in our space. And I would say that the information there is very, very valuable. So if you are trying to get into this space, I'd go check it out. Watch a whole bunch of those. Some of it might be complete gibberish to you, but it'll definitely point you in the right direction. So
appreciate it, my man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you being the first after a long one. It feels good.